Thank you very much, and welcome to Digital Week Online. We have now Dan Crothers, the COO of VeVe, or Ecomi. Dan, what's VeVe?
Yeah, hi James. Thanks for having us on the show today. Yeah, so VeVe is a digital collectible platform. All our digital collectibles are all based on NFTs, which I'm sure you and your audience everyone knows what an NFT is. When we started this whole business sort of 3 years ago, I don't even think anyone could spell NFT or even knew what NFT was. But yeah, it was something that we identified a while ago that was, potentially going to hit this space. And then, now I've even got grandmas coming up saying, "Oh, NFTs." So it's definitely hitting the mainstream. So yeah, with VeVe, obviously there's a lot of stuff happening in the NFT space now. Artists coming in, musicians coming in, and I sort of put there's really two categories of product out there in the NFT space now. You've got basically like the eBay of digital collectibles, which is like your nifty gateways, your portions, Rareable. And then on the other side, you've got VeVe, which is a bit more like a Disneyland for digital collectibles. So while we have the eBay, the buy sell, really our focus has been around the experience. What collectors get to do with their collectibles, the type of collectibles. Everything we offer is 3D. So and in addition to that, we do premium licensed brands. So we work with Sony, Warner Brothers, Ghostbusters, all of these major brands that people sort of know and love already in the physical world.
So, NFTs, the world's definitely changed in terms of, knowledge and what's happening. I think a piece of artwork that was a 1 month old sold for $69 million on Christie's, and Christie's is accepting Ethereum as payment. So
that's crazy, eh? You never would have thought that would have happened two years ago.
I'm saving my super rare Batman, believe me.
Yes.
So how has it been to interact with the fans? Because you deal in really interesting content. You have the branded content from the comics and the other memes that we all know. So what's it been like dealing with the fans? Are they seeing what they expect? Are they surprised?
Yes, so far the reaction to the app, the reaction to the product has been very, very promising. I think for fans it's an entirely new way to collect, but really it still touches all of those emotional trigger points that they already know and love in the physical world. So yeah, it's been very encouraging. Within the app itself, we have a huge augmented reality sort of features and tool set. And I think what's most exciting for me is that we're seeing so many of these AR photos, thousands of them pop up across social. It was an assumption that we made in the beginning that we thought it could go, this was a part of the app that could go viral. And that's what's happening. So, it's great for us, it's great for our brand partners, and it's great for the users because they're having a really good time. So, yeah, so far the feedback seems to be pretty good. Obviously we are still a young app, and experiencing a lot of demand at the moment. So around our drop days, aka right now, there's still a little bit of congestion to work through, but these are growing pains. I'd always prefer to have this pain rather than like there's one user in the app. Yeah, it's been a very interesting past couple of months.
Is it getting easier? Is the tech environment and the tools that you have to use more and more available, or do you still have to create your own?
No, there's a lot of off-the-shelf stuff. Really, a lot of the proprietary side of it comes down to how we stitch a lot of these components together. A lot of the stuff that we're doing in 3D, hadn't been used with our particular app interface technology when we started developing that. So there was some learnings around that, and a lot of sort of trial and error when you're trying to merge these new softwares. But for the most part, we try to go, off the shelf where possible, and then modify that.
One of the things I like about VeVe is that when you're using the app, it's like a regular iOS app. It's not like being crypto. You don't need to know what an NFT is to enjoy bidding on Batman like you did at eBay, and then having them, and then building your studio and using the AR and putting the characters in there. It's fun and it's engaging, but you don't need to understand crypto. But if that's where your bigger market is the general public, how do you reach them? How do you let them know, hey, I'm here outside of the crypto world?
Yeah. I mean, at that point, it really comes down to more traditional marketing. I mean, we run digital ad campaigns. I mean, the beauty about this day and age is that, if you like Batman, or if you like, whatever superhero, I can target you. I guess that is until, Apple takes over the world with their privacy. So yeah, for us, it's actually, quite traditional. We work with influencers in the space, digital marketing campaigns. And the virality is also a huge part of sort of how we get out there. So right now we're working with some really well-known app marketing companies. So from April onwards, was really when we were going to start our big kind of push. Everything we've got up till now has mostly been sort of viral growth. But yeah, moving forward, there's many different ways that will market to the traditional user. Even eventually we'll have a retail offering where we'll sell sort of a branded hardware wallet in retail or hobby stores to bring people in from the physical side. And then digital is a bit of a no-brainer.
And what do you see happening in the future? Everyone talks about owning your own data, and the idea of having these tokens where they're owned by the individual instead of the game. How do you see yourself fitting into that landscape in the future?
Well, I mean, from our side, we don't really pull any kind of privacy data. We're not a free app. We're not freemium. We don't serve you ads based on who you are. For us, you download the app. If you like it, you buy our content. So right now we're a little bit out of the loop of that. We don't right now. We also don't have Facebook login or anything like that. It's a bit of a it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen in that space. But I think right now where we're slightly outside of that. I mean, within the app itself, we do have recommendation engines. So if you come in there and you've bought Batman previously, our recommendation engines will start to offer you content around that. But again, that's all just sort of in-app. We're not getting your personal details to offer that information to you. So but on the advertising side, that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. Can we still target Batman users through digital marketing?
And I think the first game or the first platform I think that really engaged the public with AR was the Pokemon Go, right? Which I just learned yesterday was the fastest company to $1 billion in sales ever in the history, which is kudos to them.
And what was it, by the way?
Pokemon Go.
No, like was it a day, 2 days?
Oh, exactly. It was like a millisecond thing. I think somebody blinked. Exactly.
Yeah.
So do you see worlds like that coming about, with people can grab their characters from VeVe and bring them to other environments and start to form relationships with the characters outside of the platform? Yeah,
I mean, ultimately, I think that's probably where the users want it to go. That's like, the Ready Player One kind of vision. I think some things that need to be taken into account there is that obviously, there's licensing agreements. Some licensors like to play with each other. Other licensors don't. Some want to be completely separate and segregated. So I think that's one issue. The other issue, when it comes to anything with IP is obviously all around the intellectual property, and I think that's a lot of what the licensing world is moving through now is, the reality is that this is a completely new type of digital asset now. And, they're classifying it as such, and the sort of the legal departments are having to write, new terminology to deal with these things. So long story short, I guess ultimately everyone wants this interoperability, but there's probably some legal loopholes to get through before that's going to happen.
And when people come on, how long do people usually spend on the app? Are you keeping metrics of how people are using it?
Yeah. I mean, it's actually crazy. I think our average time in app, for the average user is around 20 minutes. And that's from someone logging in just to check once compared to your person. I mean, we have some people in there who create the most intricate showrooms. Right. They must be spending hours in there. So For us, that's great. That's exactly what we wanted to achieve. It means that people are in there, they're enjoying what they're doing, whether it's the secondary market or setting up their virtual showrooms, playing in the AR features. This is probably the most encouraging statistic for us.
And how did you get involved? What was the passion that you had that got you to VeVe?
Total mistake. Walked in the wrong corner.
Those are the best ones. Those are the best ones.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, like, I wish I say, it was something we had beautifully planned out. We knew from the beginning, blah, blah, blah. I guess we did identify some key things. We kind of started, 4 years ago, brought my first Bitcoin at a great price back then. I wish I brought 10x the amount I purchased. And then my business partner, David, who I've actually known for 25 odd years, we were looking for opportunities in this space. And back then it was either you could do wallets, you could do an exchange, or you could do mining. Exchanges and mining were both very expensive, and they were both already kind of saturated. So we had an opportunity to do a really cool crypto hardware wallet. And that's kind of what moved us, really heavily into the crypto and the blockchain space. And it was from there, when CryptoKitties came out, that we identified the opportunity. If we could match licensors with this new type of digital collectible, we could potentially have something very disruptive. And my business partner and a lot of his colleagues are very heavily in the licensing world. So that's kind of why we knew we could possibly move into that. And then obviously my background is all in tech, so I kind of knew I could deliver a product. At least one that does, when 100,000 users don't come in at one time.
And how do you feel about the landscape? Is it compatible with you and complementary, or is there competition? How do you define the business?
I mean, I guess the NFT space is quite wide and varied. I mean, I think right now we are in a little bit of a niche because, like I say, most people moving into the space are more the the buy trade, the buy sell, it's like a digital eBay. And I think I even saw like one or two more pop up around there yesterday. So whereas we offer quite a different experience. So in terms of I guess competitors, I guess you've got NBA Top Shot, but these guys are in a bit of a different category. We offer one type of experience, and I think the cool thing we're seeing now is that the tide is rising really for this whole NFT field. And this digital collectible field. So competitors, I wouldn't say we have any direct at the moment, but it's very young in the industry. I'm sure some are going to pop up. And I would say right now it's still quite sort of fragmented. A lot of people are trying to get their foothold in this particular space. But ultimately, I think we'll see people start working together a bit more, as you say, to be a lot more interoperable.
So what advice would you have to I know all these people now that are looking at NFTs, and there's always this, oh, that's not so hard, I could do that, or that's not art, conversations that are going around now faster and faster. But what advice would you give to someone who is creative and would like to try and use this new medium and reach people? How would you advise them to start?
So number one, they probably need to find the right platform. There are NFT gateways out there that will basically, allow artists to come in and create their own assets on their own. Or else there are people out there like, the guys over at Bad Crypto or Bad Media. I know they help a lot of people, sell and prepare digital art, and then they sell it through either Atomic Hub or Wax. But as an artist itself, I guess that, the thing to be aware of right now is that, like NFTs are at the top of the pump right now. So, getting into this space is going to be difficult right now because, it's very saturated. A lot of people are trying to get into it. So, I would actually just say, learn about NFTs and what they are. And my personal belief is that we're literally right at the beginning of an industry. Once all of this sort of hype that happens now dies away, there's going to be some key players left, and really they're the partners and platforms that you want to align yourself with.
Interesting. eBay was originally founded by Pierre Omidyar, who basically his wife or his girlfriend collected Beanie Babies.
Yes.
And they needed a way to sell. They had their house was overloaded. They needed a way to sell the damn things. So he created eBay, right? And you are kind of following in that track, right? You have there's this world of branded art related to people's passions that hasn't been released, that people haven't been able to engage with electronically, interactively, and you're kind of stepping onto the scene. Do you see do you see starting to get involved with storylines and other kinds of interactivity on the site, or do you think that's you're going to leave that to other people?
When you say storylines, you mean what?
Well, I noticed one of the things I noticed. I was playing around with a car in one of your demos, and I could use it like it was like a radio controlled car and spin around. So that kind of makes you think about maybe someone else's car could show up also, and maybe maybe we could have fun together on the screen interactively.
Absolutely. So part of the product coming up, part of our roadmap is absolutely bringing in multi-user interactivity into our AR environments. It's part of our sort of bigger VeVeVerse. I think the opportunity now is that I think we are going to see an explosion of metaverses next. That's really the next kind of stage of this world. I mean, there's a lot of them out there now already that are doing really well, like in the crypto space anyway, like Disneyland. I know Earth 2's come out. So we're going to start to see more and more of these, and I think there's going to be a big battle for the metaverse. I mean, even like I think Unity and these kind of big gaming brands are looking to do global level metaverse for these sort of 3D environments. So as part of that, we are absolutely going to be entering that space, and for the reason being exactly what you say. So we can have interactivity. I can build my virtual showrooms, or maybe it might be a virtual building by that point. You can walk around it, you can put it on your own plot of land, customize it, decorate it. Really, the idea for us in that area is that we want people to have their own personal virtual space online. Right now, you've got your own 2D interface, you've got your Instagram, you've got your Facebook, but we want you to now have the opportunity to set up your whole, virtual environment with all your favorite brands, products, and invite people in there, and then have games or interactivity. But in saying that, it's a space that kind of we need to see how it evolves, and we'll basically follow along with what the user demand is.
And you guys are unique in that you have the public-facing app, and then behind there's actually a really sophisticated economy that you've created around a token. Could you explain, what is the OMI token and why is it important to VeVe?
Absolutely. Yeah, so OMI is utility token. We used it for crowdfunding a couple of years ago. And the whole idea around the product is that obviously the digital collectibles are NFTs sitting on the blockchain, and the utility of the token is that any of our users can transfer that token into the app and then convert it to our in-app currency and then use it to buy, sell collectibles. Right now, the utility is limited to that, but we have some really cool stuff coming up later in the year, such as staking, rewards, people who contribute to our LP, like for example, our Uniswap. So there's a lot of very exciting things happening in this sort of token space, and a lot of the technology has developed quite significantly since we first selected our partners. So we're really looking to expand that opportunity for our token holders throughout this year.
And you guys, I've known you now for 3 or 4 years. I think when we first met, like in Singapore, you've followed this dream and you've moved it forward in such an interesting way. Do you find the feedback from your community to be useful, and how has that influenced how you've developed the platform?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like with any community, some of it's great, others are not so great. Not necessarily negative, but just everyone has their opinion on how something should be developed. We did go in a slightly different direction. We didn't really go with the MVP model when we were rolling it out because it was something completely new. And when we started developing, we kind of had an idea, but internally the product developed immensely over the 2 years of development. Whereas if we put it out right away, it might have turned into a different product because of perhaps user feedback. and also, commercial sensitivity. We didn't want to be, showing under the hood too early. So moving forward, we really believe what the core pillars of this product are, and we'll continue developing them the way we believe they should be developed for collectors. However, the feedback from the community is always taken on board. Right now, most people don't really, they love the features, they love what we're doing. Most of the feedback is like, oh, I missed out on that drop. There were too many people in there. I couldn't get it. That's more of the kind of feedback we're getting at the moment. But yeah, we'll see how that sort of plays out in the future.
And, is there, what is it that you think you need to do to be successful?
Really, at this stage, it's about just scaling. This whole NFT thing is going to take the world by storm now. Once this little hype bubble that we're in now, similar to the .com, similar to the crypto, this bubble is going to fade. But after that, NFTs are going to be a part of the world. So for us, it's now about, making sure that we offer a great product in that NFT space. We're bringing brands and products that our audience knows and loves. And obviously, we're just in the digital collectible part of the NFT space. Obviously, tokens, that's going to be wide reaching, right throughout the world. So yeah, scalability, offering really, really cool content and a really wide range of content, and then just constantly innovating on the features and the product offering we have now.
Interesting. And how has COVID affected you guys?
It didn't really affect us at all, to be honest. Me personally affected. I had to, change country that I was living in because I couldn't get back in there, blah, blah, blah. But in terms of the actual business operations, the whole team was already completely remote. So we were already inside alone working on our computers. And then I think a lot more people have gone digital now. And, throughout the COVID period in 2020 anyway, we started to see people becoming aware of like Google AR, the Google augmented reality where you can search for line and then view it in directly in 3D. And those kind of things, really helped what we were doing. They sort of raised the awareness of this, AR directly from your phone. And also same thing with sort of NFTs kicking off like August last year. It just really, when we sort of felt when we entered this market, we had to do a lot of education, but in a way, COVID helped us because people went so digital and, started finding this kind of stuff. By the time we came to market, there was already a base level of knowledge, which was actually worked out well for us.
I think it's interesting. A lot of these digital businesses have actually benefited from COVID in an odd way. These people are stuck at home and we're communicating so much online. You're in New Zealand, correct?
Correct.
Right. I'm in Vermont, right? And we're hosting a show that's being broadcast in Asia, right? So it's just the way the world's not going to the old way. Some of the modalities that we use, obviously face to face and travel, are going to come back over time. But I think that that the way that we deal with each other is going to be enriched by this period where we were forced to do something specific. And I think that. That's been one of the interesting things for me for the last year. So Dan, we're closing up. How do people find VeVe? Who should be looking for you, and what's coming in the next couple of months for people to look out for?
Sure. VeVe, we're an app-based platform, so you can go to either Google or Android, just search for VeVe, VeVe, and you'll find our app. Or you can go to veve.me over to our website. And yeah, as for coming up over the next couple of months, really it's just that we're rolling out some really awesome content. We've got the beginnings of our vehicle range coming out. We have some really cool new types of digital products coming out in the later in the year. In addition to the 3D content that we offer now, we're bringing out some really awesome 2D art from some amazing 2D artists. And yeah, in terms of the drops, I think you touched on the DeLorean before. That's coming up. I'm a little bit afraid to drop that one, to be honest.
I get a DeLorean. I have a reservation.
Right. Okay. Sure. I'll note that down.
Exactly. Like that.
Yeah, along with everyone else. Just some really cool content. I'm excited to start bringing out more of our interactive content. We're bringing out a lot of static stuff at the moment. It's just a lot of really cool content and better experience.
Will there be dynamic elements that actually are dynamic in and of themselves?
Yes, there will be. So, we'll have a lot of animation. I mean, the idea for us is that, you can drop your characters in AR and, whether it's, say, like NFL or Batman, you might be able to carry out some kind of action with them, whether that's interactive or you can kind of play along. We're definitely moving down this sort of more interactive or dynamic part because digital lends itself to that so well.
Okay. Well, Dan, I really appreciate the time to talk to you. Next time we have to do a demo. That was my error, and not
Right.
saying
Yeah, my bad. Sorry.
Because you're beautiful and you're wonderful, but you're not as good as the app. So pleasure to see you, and be well.
Thanks so much. Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.